Hello, Dr. Moses Paul. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, you're welcome. It's good to have you. This very all-important discussion. We were on Twitter Space, and I think it was a very interesting discussion that we had. That was on 2 weeks ago, and then we decided to move over to Facebook so that our Facebook audience can also, well, one way or the other, lend their voice to this very important discussion. Yes, we are waiting for. Well, you are here. I trust Mr. Martins and Dr. Adelaja will also join us. So the subject of the discussion, as must have seen on the poster, is about Nigerian, the candidates, and 2023. And even as the election is coming close, time for campaign is coming close, I think it's high time Nigerians, voters get down to business. On Twitter, it has been so hot. Every day, so many Twitter space. And I think every day, one thing that I noticed after hosting some Twitter space recently, and had a very massive attendance, close to 1,000 visitors and people that attended the space. And one thing I've noticed is Nigerians are concerned more about the issues. Of course, we still have those who, you know, party and things like that, but I think a good number of Nigerians are concerned about the issues. Okay, so that is what we're going to be talking about, and I think Dr. Sunday is also ready for us. So let me bring him up also, and then I will talk about our rules of engagement. Okay. Hello, sir. Hello, Dr. Sunday. So good to have you here. I think his mic is muted. Okay, I think maybe he's trying to sort his mic out. Hello, sir. Can you hear me clearly, sir? Maybe I can unmute his mic for him from here. Oh, okay. Sir, your mic is muted. Dr. Sunday, your mic is muted. Okay. Okay. Sir, I can't hear you. Dr. Moses, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think Dr. Sunday is not connected yet.
Yes. I think his volume is not yet connected.
He's speaking. We can hear him.
Yes, but we can't hear him yet. Okay, we are just waiting for Dr. Sunday's audio.
All right. I think I'm live.
Come online. Mr. Martins, we can't hear you clearly. Just what I told you earlier. Your network is bad. I can hear Dr. Moses clearly. You can hear me clearly. We can see Dr. Sunday clearly. We cannot hear him at all. Sir, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, sir.
Okay, I'm trying to sign in through.
Yes, he can, and he can't hear us too. So I think the challenge.
He's saying that he cannot hear us too.
Yeah.
Aha.
It's his device. It has to be from his device.
He needs to maybe unplug and replug.
Yes. Mr. Martins, maybe you can chat him. That let him just disconnect and reconnect. Okay, we have quite a number of viewers. Okay, yes, he's trying to restart his system. I'm sure when it comes back now. Yeah, I'm sure when it comes back. Okay, we have a good number of viewers already waiting for the discussion. So we should not keep them waiting for too long. So I'm going to throw the first question. Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to throw the first question to Dr. Moses. And the first question will be, what should be the most important concern for voters as far as this election is concerned? What should be the most important issue on the table that should determine the criteria for the decisions for voters as far as 2023 is concerned? That's the first question I would like to throw to Dr. Moses Paul.
Thank you, and it's also another good opportunity here tonight. I want to believe you can hear me. Can I? Am I okay? Thank you. Because we've been holding conversations every day on different platforms. There are so many views, opinions, and different materials that are speaking every day. So many voices every day, you know, and we also live in the best times of life because unlike when the scripture said that my people perish for lack of knowledge, I dare say today that people do not perish for lack of knowledge anymore, because knowledge in terms of information is very available in our time and space, given the timeline that we are alive and living right now. But people perish for the lack of implementation or the lack of proper ability to be able to sift between the available information and knowledge and then to apply. And it's on that basis that I'm going to say that in terms of preferences, sequence of importance, that good governance should be the most important criteria for why any to go to vote with, especially in 2023 in this dispensation, because again, when you look at our politics from 1999 till date, I have participated, I have voted since 1999, and I have been voted for when I ran for political office in 2019. And given the myriad of different you know, the games and how we have evolved as a people in terms of our politics. When you look at our party systems, our party systems are not driven by ideology, and therefore it removes from a lot of criteria that should have been the reason for why people should go to vote in 2023. Given all of that, and I can elaborate on if we take the different points that we need to look at. But when you put good governance as a number one criteria for why people should vote and be voted for, then you begin to look at personality, because personality comes to play in that regard. And I think this is one of the critical element that people would have to look forward and look at as they go to vote in 2023, because as a nation, there is no doubt we are changing regardless of the outcome. One of the things that maybe because
Dr. Mo, we are losing your volume. We are losing your audio.
my audio.
Yeah, okay, it's back now. It's back.
Okay. Maybe because we are a very young nation.
The audio is your audio. Your audio.
I'm listening. Okay, am I back?
Well,
Am
it's not.
It's not clear.
Yeah, it's better now. Maybe it's your network.
I think it's the network. Because of the deckings.
It's seriously fluctuating.
Oh my
seriously
goodness.
fluctuating.
But it was clearer before now.
Yeah, it's better now. It's better now.
Okay. Let's see how it leads. Okay. So, good governance aligned to personality is what I think people should do.
Okay, Dr. Mo, maybe you will check your audio. We can't hear you. Let me just give you 5 minutes to put it up while I bring up Mr. Martins.
Okay, thank you, man. You can hear me clearly now.
I can hear you clearly, yes.
Okay, I've sent a message to Dr. Sunday, and I think he's working on his volume. He should be up anytime soon. Okay, maybe he should turn on his mic. Let's see if we can hear him.
Okay, I think we wait for him. All right. So, Dr. Mo, is your volume back? Because you are making an interesting point about the personality of the candidates. So we'd like to hear more about that.
Well, I wouldn't.
No, it's breaking.
I'm not in any position.
Maybe you change your position where you are.
Let's see if it's better. If it's better, just let me know, because
yeah, it's better. It's better now.
Better.
Yes.
I can hear you now. I'm clear, right?
It's coming and going. That's just what I can say. It's not consistent.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you see now when you said "oh boy," it was very clear, and then next time it disappears. So I don't know what
disappears again.
Okay, I think it's okay. Just stay like that. Aha, it's okay. Talk from there.
Talk from there. Quite loud.
No.
Anyway,
I think you should remove your earpiece and speak directly to the phone. Let's try that.
Okay. What about now?
Yeah, well, I can hear you now.
Am I any?
Okay, just hold on. Let's do a sound check for Dr. Sunday. Okay, sir, you can hear us now.
Yes, I hear you now. I hope you can hear me too.
Good. We can hear you.
What about now?
Thank you so much.
I've been waiting for you.
All right, perfect.
Yes, it's
sure
perfect.
We can all hear ourselves.
Yeah, although I'm managing to hear you. I'm used to very sharp audio. I'm used to very sharp audio. He still can't hear us. He can't hear us. Hello.
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay, sir. I can hear you too.
I was hearing you and it disappeared, but now it's back now.
Okay, I can hear you too.
Somebody's child is crying there. Someone might need to take care of that.
Okay, sounds check. Dr. Sunday, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Okay, I can hear you too, sir. Okay, so Dr. Mo, I will come back to you. Okay, Mr. Martins.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good, good. So we just have to try and have the discussion one way or the other.
I think when one person is speaking, the other mic should be muted.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're going to allow Dr. Sunday to continue from here.
Try and
While
mute
after he
my
makes his
mic
submission,
when you are speaking.
yeah, no problem. So after Dr. Sunday makes his submission, then we'll go back to Dr. Moses Paul. So Dr. Sunday, you're welcome to this very important discussion. Last time on Twitter, a lot of people came especially to listen to you. Many obedience were all over Twitter. Waiting, in fact, well, I won't mention name. One very powerful celebrity started me from UK. Say, wicked man. I was waiting for Dr. Sunday, of course, waiting in a positive way. They wanted to hear what you have to say, nothing bad. Where is he? I think Dr. Sunday has been trying his best to make this work. He said, oh, I missed. She thought maybe she missed the conversation, and I'm like, no, it was technical issue. So now you are welcome, sir. So you can unmute your mic. You can unmute your mic. So we want you to make your submission. The first question is simple. 2023, what issues do you think should be priority to Nigeria, and who do you think will solve those problems, so that we can get the discussion running fast? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Wikiman. Thank you so much, Pastor Martin. Thank you, Dr. Moses, for coming to honor this invitation as well. It's my privilege to participate in this discussion because I care about the future and the destiny of my country. Okay, to say what should be the issue, what should be the main point, what should be the driving force behind this election. I think the main point that we should focus on is track record. Nigerians should begin to learn the meaning of that word, track records. Anybody that has not done something before, trying for the first time, will most likely fail. So if let's say you are not a surgeon and they brought somebody to you that needs operation, surgical operation, needs to be operated on, let's say the person has breast cancer, and you are an engineer, or you are a doctor, but a doctor that is a general practitioner that has not been a surgeon. You know, there are difference between a surgeon and a doctor, general practitioner. So if you bring somebody like that to a doctor that has never done it before, you are most likely going to fail. So what I think Nigerians should be looking forward to is that who is the person that has the best track record? That is, if we take the example of cancer, breast cancer, let's say who are the people who have successfully operated or carried out similar operations for patients of breast cancer, and their operation was successful. If you can find that person, it's better to pick the person who is a doctor, but not just a general practitioner, but a surgeon who has done the operation before and has been successful. But then, on the other hand, you could find a good person, a good doctor, who is also of the same faith like yourself. Maybe a good Christian person who goes to church, prays to God, who is a believer, but is not a surgeon. Even if he goes and prays to church in church 24 hours, and he goes to your church, and he's a good man, he will not even annoy a dog, offend a dog, even if he's so good. But if he has not done the operation before, you don't want to go that way. So what I want Nigerians to pay attention to in this election is the word track records. Track records.
Thank you. That's a very wonderful submission, because it's for everyone to latch on that and take relevant decision. They should look at track record. Of course, there are a lot of questions here, which we are going to be taking one after the other. So I'm still going to give you another question before I now allow Dr. Mo to respond. Now, talking about track record. Okay, sorry. Let me just mute. Yes, talking about track record. In one of your writings, you said that based on Peter Obi's Anambra, you don't think he will make, or you don't think it should be the next 2023. So then some people will say that if I know track record means a lot, so that's why I just picked that article. I'm not saying that's the only thing you're talking about track record. I just picked that article. So when you look at the Katsina, where the president came out from, you looked at an Adamawa, where VP Atiku came out from. If you look at an Ogun State, where President Obasanjo came out from, and look at the Bayelsa. Since we in that particular article you talked about Anambra, so how do you think it works against Peter Obi? Because if we should look at these states, then all these people that became president won't have even come forth. And also remember, some Nigerians, some believe that Asiwaju is from Osun State, not really Lagos. So what do you have to say about that? There are a lot of interesting questions, because we know you're a teacher, you educate, and that's what you do best. And so that is the direction we want to take this discussion. So after that question, Dr. Mo, you will respond and react, and Mr. Martins also. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I would like to say that, first of all, let me make something clear. Unlike Dr. Mo or Dr. Moses, who is associated or connected to Peter Obi's movement, I understand he's an assistant youth leader in that movement. I am not connected to Asiwaju. I've never seen him. I've never met him. I'm not a member of APC. I'm not political. I'm not a political party member. I'm not campaigning for him. I'm just analyzing facts. And I'm making suggestions. I'm bringing together empirical evidences, and on the basis of that, coming to conclusions. So now to go to your question, concerning Peter Obi, looking at him and listening to him, I fell in love with him back in 2017. And I was busy campaigning for him, not to be president, but I was just saying we need somebody like this in Nigeria, because he used to go to the UK. There is a television station there they used to call OBE. Maybe it's still there, I don't know. He's an African, I think he's owned by a Nigerian, and he used to be interviewed when he visited UK by that television station. And I was, connected. I had that channel, so I used to listen to him back in 2017. And the way he was speaking, and what he had done for Anambra State, and of his credentials and his achievements, I fell in love with him. He was the first governor that I fell in love with like that, because I've not been to Nigeria in years. But listening to this Nigerian man, I began to brag on him, and I began to talk about him, so openly and passionately to my Anambra friends. So it was then that the Anambra people, some of them were based in the US, some of them were based in Europe, some of them were based in Nigeria, but mainly those ones who were based in Nigeria, they began to tell me that, Pastor, have you visited Anambra? Have you gone there before? Have you seen what is on ground? Why are you just believing somebody who can talk? They were the ones who told me that if anybody has done anything of repute in Anambra as a governor, it is one Chris Ngige. I've never heard of that Chris Ngige at that point. I didn't even know about him. So when I was now about to write this article, I went to do research. But the research I did was for the times of their governorship before 2020. So that I was hearing, I wanted to see what Anambra people were saying on ground about the stewardship of the two men before 2020, before Obi declared his intention to contest as a president. So not now that even those people who were criticizing him back then, all of them are now hailing him. But if you just go to the internet and do your research, what Anambra people are saying and who are they giving credit to more before the year 2020 in the history of the governors of the Anambra State, they were always talking about Chris Ngige. They said they said they see what he has done, the roads he has done, the infrastructure he has done. Not that Obi didn't do anything or he didn't try, but it's not the best, they said. Okay, for example, let me give you just one simple arithmetic, which could be verified. Everybody can verify. So if you go to the record about the internally generated revenue during the time of Ngige, during the time of Obi, and during the time of Obiano, take three men in Anambra, and what was the result of their stewardship? How much did they? Because Nigeria now, where Nigeria is right now, we need a president that will be able to generate income for the country because we are almost bankrupt. So we need somebody who is a genius person in generating money, in raising money, in copying. But when you look at the record of Obi, what he generated was less than 1%, I mean, less than 10% of what he added to what he made on ground. I can find the statistics. So what he added was less, he couldn't even generate 10% of internally generated revenue. But Ngige generated like 200, almost 300% increase in the internally generated revenue when they were governors. And the Obiano didn't do as good as Ngige, but he was able to generate, even more, almost the same as Ngige. But Obi was able to save money, but he was not able to generate money. So someone like that would be a catastrophe for Nigeria where we are right now. We need somebody that will come with ingenuity of how to raise money and create wealth from nowhere for Nigeria right now. If necessary, I will give you later on, if you want, the exact statistics.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so Dr. Mo, let's take your reaction on that, and then after you, we listen to Martins, then we look to the next round of questions for Dr. Sunday. Dr. Sunday, thank you very much for your exposition. Okay, Dr. Mo, go ahead, sir.
I don't know, can you?
It's not clear. Honestly, it's not clear.
I don't know what else to do because I can hear everyone.
So it goes on, your voice goes on and off. Like when you turned your face now, it went off. When you looked, so I don't know exactly what is going on.
Oh, I should.
You know what you do? Turn off your camera. Yeah, turn off your camera. Let's see, maybe we can just optimize bandwidth. Okay, try and speak. Let's see, maybe it will sound better.
I'm thinking that maybe I should go out and come back.
Yeah, go ahead. It's better now.
It's better now?
Yes, it's better now.
Okay. So
oh no, it's not better. It's not better. Sorry.
Let me exit and come back.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Martins, sorry, let me. Mr. Martins, unmute yourself. Hello, Mr. Martins. Okay, Dr. Sunday, let's proceed. I think they are having challenges. So, sir, you wrote an article on the leadership. On Premium Times, where you say, is leadership really the main problem of Africa? All right, and I want to take us back to the last paragraph where you said our modern world has long become a post-monarchical world. The democratic system of government has replaced the supremacy of monarchs in most countries of the world. It is for this reason that the emergence of democracy has now reduced the all-important role of a good and kind leader in building a prosperous nation. So, what will be your definition of a good and kind leader in this election? I still have a lot of questions to ask you about some of the things, achievements that you wrote about Asiwaju, and of course, because most of the truth is from your submission. I did not see much writing about Atiku. Maybe I didn't check, but I read some, quite a lot. Nor did I hear much about other candidates. So if our questions revolves around Asiwaju and Peter Obi, it is because of what I extracted from your writings. All right, I just want to make that clear for our listeners. Whoever our listeners have other questions about what Dr. Sunday thinks about other candidates, which of course we're also going to visit, then we'll answer it. And as the reason why I asked that question is because, you know, they said people's perception is their reality, and politics is very grassroots. On Twitter Space, I was talking to some young people. There was an issue around maybe some legal cases like that, and I told them, of course, these issues can be debated. I said, but research shows that it is only people who have political consciousness, education, that takes political decision based on scandals. The others don't care. They think about food, they think about healthcare, they think about what the government will do for them. That is in no way saying that these records don't matter. So when you made mention of a good and a kind leader, I want you to throw more light on that, especially in your submission that you believe that Asiwaju is going to be the right leader for Nigeria. Because I can tell you that many young people will not, may not associate those qualities with him. But not, this is not showing any aspiration on his character. I'm just asking questions based on your writings. Okay, thank you, sir. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
All right. So before I answer your question, let me just, you need to mute yours as well. Okay. Right. Before I answer your question, let me just give the exact statistics that I referred to before about Anambra State. Okay, the exact statistic is this. During the governorship of Chris Ngige, the IGR, you can write it down and go and verify, between 2003 to 2006 was, when he came in, he made 800 million naira in the purse, in the bursary. And he increased it. By the time he left in 2006, the money had become 7.5 billion naira. I don't know the man. These are just available information on the net. Okay. This is an increase of 938%, almost 1,000% increase in creating wealth, bringing money to the coffers of the state. This is what the man Chris Ngige did. Now, Mr. Obi, let's take his own time of governorship. He came in 2006 and left in 2014. So the money that he made was 7.5 billion. That is what Ngige left for him. That's what he made there. But when he left, he only increased the money from 7.5 billion to 8.3, to 8.13, 8.1 actually, to 8 billion, from 7 billion to 8 billion. That's the only thing he increased it to, which is an increase of less than 1%. I'm not talking about the whole total GDP of the state. I'm only talking about the internally generated revenue, IGR. Now, then another man came after Peter Obi by the name Willie Obiano. So he met in the coffers of the internally generated. He came in 2014 and left 2022. He met 8.1 8.13 billion, let's say 8 billion, and increase it to 28 billion. That is 246%. Now, the highest is Chris Ngige, 938%. The second one is Obiano, 246%. And Peter Obi, just less than 1%. No, it's too bad. Even if it is 10%, even if it is 100%, 200% is better. You could be a good person. This is part of what I'm trying to say, what you saw in my article. You could be a good person, a good leader. You don't steal, but if you cannot generate wealth, you are going to cause catastrophe. Personally, I believe that Nigeria has had very good leaders. And even the man we have right now, Muhammad Buhari, personally, I think he's a good man. I think he's not stealing. I think he's honest. I think he's sincere. I think he's pure. He might not be corrupt, but he doesn't have ideas on how to generate money. Same with Obi. And in Obi's case, it's going to be worse because Obi is still stingy plus all that. And he's bragging on that I left this amount of money, I kept this amount of money. When your people are dying out of poverty, you are bragging that you are keeping money in the bank. You are supposed to use that money to improve their lifestyle, not to be bragging that you kept it. It's just like somebody says, I'm a billionaire. I mean, you are a father of your household, and you are bragging that you are a billionaire or a millionaire, but your children are not being well fed. You are a bad father. That is the issue. One of the issues I will point to in regards to Peter Obi in that sense. Now, concerning my article, I said Nigeria doesn't need, we should stop looking for messiahs. We don't need messianic leaders. That is the essence of my article, that leadership is not the problem of Nigeria or Africa. It's not our main problem. Unlike what all our fathers and our colleagues, our people have told us all our years. Since I was little like this, I've been hearing leadership is our only problem. Leadership, as if we never had a good leader in Nigeria. But I tell you, we have been having good leaders. We had Tafawa Balewa. He was a good man. Go and read his biography, story about him. He was a good man. We had Nnamdi Azikiwe as the president. He was a good man. We had Gowon. Gowon was a good man, fine man. And the economy of Nigeria did best during his time. Even Obasanjo is a good man. We had, but the best of men that we've had in this country as our president is Shagari. If you have heard of Shagari, Shagari was a good man. He would not hunt an ant. But economic collapse and the government collapsed upon his head. Even this Buhari, when he came the first time, even now, I think he's a good man. You know, we've been having good men, and that is where our hope will always dash. When we are hoping that one man will come and deliver us, we are making a mistake. We need to look for men of capacity. But how do you know these men of capacity and vision who are able to make things happen, even if they are bad men? They might be bad men, but they might be men of capacity. They are two different things. When you are talking about going to heaven, you need people to be good. When you are talking about pleasing God, going to heaven, you need people to be good. But when you are talking about building a nation, you need men with skills and capacity. So that is what I'm trying to say, that people who are good and kind, they will not necessarily end up to be good leaders or lead us to a good place. So what do we need? We need men with capacity. So how do we know their capacity? How do we gauge and judge them? Look at their track records. If their track records have shown that they have done something historical and which is related to the challenges that the country is facing now, then you could say, this is the man. I can show you, okay, you tell me any leader that you know in the history of the world that built their great countries. Most of them are cruel. Most of them are warrior men. Let's take America, for example. George Washington, he was a warrior. He was a general. He went to war. They would call him a rebel. He fought England, and but for Americans, he was the father of the nation. He became a hero, national hero. Same with Lincoln. Lincoln had slaves and he had extramarital life and things like that. But still, he's still one of the best leaders that America has ever produced. Point to any country but they had capacity to build. They had vision. They were visionary leaders, but not always the best of men in terms of morale and kindness and things like that. But other places where you've had men that are good, but you are not skillful, you don't have the skills and the capacity, it's going to be a catastrophe for the nation.
We can't seem to, I can't make sense of anything you're saying. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
You can hear me very well?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. All right. I'm in the middle of Abuja. Network that can Dr. Sunday can't seem to be able to hear me. Martin, can you hear me?
It keeps coming and going off. Sometimes it's so sharp, then sometimes it goes off. I think you should remove your.
I don't
Don't use earpiece. Speak directly to the phone.
You can hear me, right?
It's not sharp. It's not sharp.
Oh boy. I don't know.
Are you using MTN or Airtel?
I was using MTN, but I moved from MTN to the network.
I don't know what's happening to your network. I can't hear you.
And it's still not clear. I don't know what else to do. I'm just moving.
Like I said, it comes and goes. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. That's where the problem is.
Stay here, right? What about now?
Yeah, just speak for some time.
Okay. Now it's you are also breaking. Before now, I could hear everything.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay, because of our listeners, maybe you try it again. Okay, so Dr. Sunday, some of the issues that have been highlighted in Nigeria are: number one, security; number two, unity; number three, economy. Yeah. So starting from security and unity, how do you think, from your analysis, the incoming government, or we can say that the man you are recommending, will solve the problem and challenges of security in Nigeria? Because like I said, I'm talking on the issues that concerns a lot of Nigerians. And then after that, we are also going to ask the question of unity, because like I said, a lot of Nigerians, they might not have access to some of our high profile analysis. Is what they feel that they follow, and quite a lot of Nigerians believe Nigeria is not united. We are not united. That's what a lot of people believe. And then security challenges. So I would like you to address these two issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before Dr. Sunday goes, am I okay? 1 or 2?
We can't hear you.
Sorry. Dr. Mo, just hold on. Let Dr. Sunday respond. We have live viewers so that we won't keep them waiting. And after him, we'll come back to you again to try to be sure. At least you should write down all the issues that Dr. Sunday has addressed, and you'll be able to give your response. Okay, sir, you can go ahead.
Okay. Very good questions. I recognize those complaints and those issues that we have in Nigeria, and those are some of the things that I base my analysis on to choose who is going to be the best candidate to address these things. So let's talk about and you know, in our language, I think we should have similar adage in all languages of Nigeria. They say charity begins at home, right? In English also they have it. So charity begins at home. We have it in the West. They always say, before you go out, we need to see what you have done at home first. Track record. That is what they call track records. So for us to know answers to all these questions, it's a very simple thing. If we are going to use the basic parameter that I've just given, track record. So who will best solve the security issues on the security problems in Nigeria? Of course, is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With no sentiments here. You know, if you are, I'm an old man. I'm approaching my 60s now. So I lived in Nigeria and I saw the Lagos before Tinubu and during the time of Tinubu and after Tinubu. The security situation that was in Lagos was terrible. It was worse than anywhere else in the country. Lagos was a danger zone before this man came in. Lagos, they will give you announcement. Armed robbers will give you announcement. They will inform the whole street or a whole estate that we are coming to rob you this day. From this day to this day, we are coming to rob you. And they will rob, and police and the they will not do anything. I mean, in the streets, anything. Lagos was waking up to 50 dead bodies every morning. 50 new dead bodies every morning. This man came and resolved the issue. He set up a paramilitary organization, not paramilitary like in the negative, but positive, a civil defense organization. He introduced such a civil defense mechanism in Lagos that has made Lagos now to become one of the safest states in Nigeria. But because it's very complicated, I cannot even imagine it. 20 million people in a small place. How do you secure it? It's impossible almost. But he has done it. And that track record, if you see the breakdown of how he approached it, he empowered every estate, every local government. He broke it down. He recruited people. He brought in. So this Amotekun that these Western governors just came up with recently, is on the template of what was done in Lagos. They were just trying to copy what has been done in Lagos. They have all different levels of security organization, apart from police. Most states in Nigeria are relying on police and soldiers and army. But Lagos, they have 5 other security outfits that people don't even know about. But they are collecting information, security. So that is the product of Tinubu's work. Tinubu has handled it before, and he will be able to do it. Now, when we talk about unity, of course, Lagos is a melting ground for Nigeria. Lagos is like the melting pot where you see all tribes in Nigeria. If you could make Lagos to be for people to live in harmony, believe me, you will be able to make people in Nigeria live in harmony. And Lagos, again, is a track record. The track record of Abiola Tinubu in Lagos is also a pointer to the fact that he will be able to unite Nigeria. In his government, I heard he brought in, and I met some of them, he brought in people from other regions of Nigeria. He discipled them. He mentored them. He even included them. This was at a point when in other states of Nigeria, it was not always welcome to invite people from another state to come and take ministerial position in your own state. In fact, indigenes normally fight and say, you are robbing our own people. You are robbing people from our side. How can you go and be bringing somebody from another side? Even within the state itself, somebody in the north of one state will say, oh, why should you use your candidate from the north again? You used him last time, it's our turn. But he rather used people from other states even to form his cabinet. And he was mentoring them and helped them to win in their different states. He is really a Jagaban. That Jagaban that they gave him, it was not even a Yoruba title. It was given to him from the north. So this is track record. Track record. Nobody has that kind of experience. And when we are going to talk on facts and figures and empirical evidences like this, you will easily see that no, the only candidate we really have, not just the best candidate, the only candidate we have is Tinubu. Because when you are going to talk facts, but if you are going to talk sentiment, oh, where is he coming from, Osun State or Lagos? What does that matter? I need your brain. Oh, was he born that year or he wasn't born that year? I don't care. I need his visionary implement and see what he has done. I don't even care if he's from jungle or he's from Cosmos or he's from Mars. As long as he can do what he did in Lagos and do it on a larger scale, that's somebody I think will be fit to become the best president of Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, hold on, sorry. Okay, so a very common denominator in your submission is the term track records, and I think all our listeners should pay attention to that. Now, I'm going to read some things from your writings and online. Then I will go back to Dr. Mo and we'll continue. Since we talked about track record, because this information are available and a lot of our listeners will want you to react to them. So just a little bit of time. Now, you said Tinubu was the first politician to start economic summits. He pioneered the Treasury single account. He started an independent power project. I think that was like 230 megawatts or something. He introduced digital economy, created 37 local governments, brought innovation. He said he was the first to break away from master plan machinery of elections. Last governor in a state, okay, yes, without full federal allocation from Abuja. He started telecommunication revolution in Nigeria through Econets, all right? And those were from your writings. I think those that want to read more can go there. Now, we also have list of achievements by Peter Obi. Of course, I'm not going to read everything. He talked about under Obi, Anambra State became the first state to start sovereign wealth savings. The Nigerian Debt Management Office rated Anambra as the least indebted state in Nigeria. Investments, development partners such as UNDP, World Bank said Anambra was consistently adjudged one of the best states in development. Education, Obi distributed computers, oversaw the return of schools to their original missionary owners. Health, renovated and built list of hospitals, Our Lady, St. Charles, St. Joseph. Economy, security. So this information are out there and it is being consumed by, so we cannot, they are there and we need to address why we think these achievements makes Tinubu the best man, and these other achievements does not make Peter Obi the best man. I'm talking about what people are going to be asking. Since we talked about track records, these track records are there. Somebody also sent me an article about Ngige Peter Obi, but I don't want us to drag that aspect too much. Yes, so before Dr. Sunday comes back, let's listen to Dr. Mo. Hopefully, Mr. Martins, we can't. Okay, Mr. Martins, can you hear us? Unmute your mic, Mr. Martins.
Okay, my mic is open now.
Seems it's only me and Dr. Sunday that are using European technology. to to talk. And me, I'm in Nigeria, so I don't know why my own network is working. Anyway, I have a lot of devices in my house. I think I have like 6 modems, but I'm only using one and it's working. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. I think Abuja, there's problem in Abuja. Normally, when I'm in Abuja, I use Airtel. I don't use MTN. I don't use, well, let me don't talk about any company. I use MTN sometimes, but most of the time I use Airtel. Your line is not clear at all. It's not clear. It's not clear. Okay, Dr. Mo.
Yes.
Okay. Speak on. Let's hope it will be stable.
It's clear now.
Okay, just continue speaking. We can hear you a bit.
Okay, it's quite very interesting the things Dr. Sunday Adelaja has enumerated on concerning the achievement of Asiwaju here today. But I'm happy that I don't have to rehash, because you've also enumerated by the former, which clearly, based on the achievement that was given back when oh boy,
We can't hear you.
Well,
I don't know what's happening.
this is too bad. I can hear everything very well. I'm moving all around the place, but
When you move around, we hear you. Then when you talk, it goes off. So maybe you keep moving around and keep on talking, because I don't know what is the problem.
Incidentally, this is the only
Okay. Anyway, this is why we usually use Twitter Space for some of our discussions, because I don't know, maybe it's the bandwidth issue. Okay.
Why we cannot hear you? I'm ready to talk about the security. I mean about the economy.
Economy. Yes. Okay, I think you can go ahead. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. Because people have to hear something. The last time, by the way, they couldn't hear me too. I had to.
Yes. You had a challenge with your device. A lot of people are only there that day. So many people.
Today is my day. So last time today is my day.
Please, sir, go ahead.
Okay. So let's see what when we talk about the economy, who can best handle it? Okay, we are taking Asiwaju Tinubu and we are taking Peter Obi, right? Now, concerning Peter Obi, I will not even, he was a banker, a small level banker, but he's more a trader, and he gives himself the title that he's a trader. But when it comes to managing the economy of the whole country, a trader cannot do the job. You need a master level economist. You need somebody that really understands money generation basically. And that is the greatest achievement of Adelaja. When he was in ExxonMobil, in an American company, a black man like me and you, in an American company, that's not where you can bribe people. He became the top executive, and he so much excelled that up to today they are still talking stories about him, how well he did in private American corporate world. Then they had to take him from America and send him to Nigeria. And here in Nigeria, he was not the head of the company. There were other people ahead of him. People Americans were managing ExxonMobil here. But he so much excelled that you have to be moving from being an accountant of the company to become the auditor of the whole company. He was so within. That is his strong point. So when he became the governor of Lagos State, and he's so bold, he's a man that dares to do something. So, he confronted Obasanjo, and because of that, Obasanjo, we all know the story. Bro, you didn't move your phone. Can you move your microphone?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, good. So he confronted Obasanjo, and as a result of that, he had a problem. Obasanjo stopped remitting the local money for local governments to him. Okay, so he said, because can you imagine if our states now are not receiving allocation from Abuja anymore? How many of them will survive? Even now, all the states in Nigeria are receiving allocation, yet they are not surviving. They are still borrowing. They are still asking for more. They cannot survive. But this man, for 3 years almost, he was not being given money that was meant to manage all the local governments of Lagos State. And he said, don't worry, this is my area. This is my skill. I am a money genius. He went and began, he is the one who popularized the term internally generated revenue. He so much increased the money that Lagos, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, became the first state that was making more money within Lagos State than what it's getting, than what the federal government is giving it. A first state, it was making more money within Lagos State than what the federal government is giving them. Today, listen to me clearly, anybody that is listening, because of the activity of this man and his ingenuity, out of 55 countries in Africa today, Lagos alone is richer than 50 of them. Today, the economy, I think the last statistic I saw was from 2016. As of that time, or 2016, yeah, as of that time, the GDP of Lagos alone was about close to $150 billion. Now, $150 billion makes it to be bigger than the economy of Cameroon, bigger than the economy of Kenya, bigger than the economy of Ghana, bigger than the economy of Tunisia, bigger than the economy of most countries in Africa. Lagos alone, because of the ingenuity of this man. If Nigerians will listen to me, I'm ready to stand on my knees and beg them to give Bola Tinubu a chance. Because I told you already what Peter Obi did with internally generated revenue. But what Asiwaju did is something that must be, I think it's already been studied in universities, not only in Africa, but all over the world. The man is a genius when it comes to that sense. But let me tell you even more than that. Let's now take Peter Obi. I will not even use my own word. Let's use the word of the current governor, Solido, of his own state, of Anambra State. What does he say about Peter Obi as an economist? He's just laughing. What he says, and if you want, this was printed in national newspaper. Solido printed this in Vanguard, January 25th, 2015. So what did he say? He said, okay, one of those present took the satire to some levels by comparing Jonathan to the performance of the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi. He noted that while Obi gloated about savings, there is no signature project to remember his regime for, except that his regime took the first position among all states in Nigeria in the democratization or popularization of poverty, mass impoverishment of the people of Anambra State. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, poverty rose under the watch of Peter Obi in Anambra State from 20% in 2004, which was the lowest in Nigeria then, to 68% in 2010, an increase of poverty level by 238%. This is not my word. I cannot, and it is not Tinubu's word. This is the word of the present governor right now of the Anambra State, Solido. And Solido is an internationally renowned economist. He knows what he's talking about. So, you know, I will not even compare the two. So if we are going to be objective and say who will better manage our economy, Tinubu is just on another level. But apart from Tinubu, he has a running mate, Shetima. Shetima was mentored by people like Olumelu. Is it Elumelu? Yeah, Elumelu, they call him, from Zenith Bank. And Shetima used to be one the most talented worker or banker in Zenith Bank. They said nobody in the history of that bank had faster rate of growth. Okay, you need to mute your microphone again. Okay, nobody grew faster in the history of Zenith Bank than Shetima. Shetima, they call him a genius as well in banking. And, you know, it was the phenomenon of that bank. And Elumelu, who is of the Zenith Bank, can testify to that as well. And all other people. So it was a banker of note, not like Peter Obi, but Peter Obi was a banker of a smaller bank. So see what Solido said, that Peter Obi, you know, increased poverty from 20% to 238% in the state when it was there. And that it didn't do anything of significance. And that there is no signature achievement by Peter Obi in Anambra State. I'm not from Anambra State. I've never been there, but I believe what this man said. So if we are going to talk about track records, it is track record that matters. So look at all the candidates with track records who can better perform. I think what Shiwaju did in Lagos shows me that he has better track record.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Dr. Mo, let's hope you are back now. Dr. Mo, just wait, keep on speaking, because sometimes we might not hear you, but you might be audible on mobile phone. I've experienced that before. So keep on speaking. Let me just see, maybe that is going to happen.
I don't. Entire session, I hear as though everybody was in the loudspeaker. I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear Dr. Sunday loud and clear. But unfortunately, you can't hear me, so I don't even. The points have been made by Dr. Sunday, and I'm wondering, I don't know when last Dr. Sunday came back home, because like I said, from the reports you read about the achievement of Asiwaju in Lagos and of Peter Obi in Anambra that you reeled out, that we all listened to. What's there? I mean, I was going to just ask Dr. Sunday that if you, from where he started off from, you know, slash the track record of politicians based on what their capacity, and since it's a comparison and a debate that we're running, I was going to ask Dr. Sunday that imagine that you are a very, very experienced surgeon or politician with a track record, and that's very old and sick with trembling hands and impediments of memories. I'm just wondering who would submit to you to carry out an operation if you are a very senior surgeon who impeccable with all the track record as a young person, and then nature catches up with you where you can't even hold the syringe or the knives in the theater, to must be given the right of performance to carry on operations. And I'm just wondering how you're going to do that. I mean, not even going to query the achievements of what he has spoken about as concerning Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but I'm looking at a man who almost the age of coherent, even to remembering the name of his party. And this is not, couldn't even hold up the flag of, and I don't know if Dr. Sunday will allow that kind of carry out an operation on him, given the track. The other thing I also want to dive into is to talk about the fact that I don't know when last Dr. Sunday came back. I mean, I don't think I've ever said this out anywhere before on any TV, radio program, or any interviews I've had. But on 2 occasions, I've gone into the woods to give out tens of millions of naira to rescue people that were kidnapped from the bushes. You know, the last one is between Edo State and Kogi State, you know, where I rescued pastors and passengers that, you know, they were kidnapped into the bush, and I was there for 7 hours to rescue them. So I am not just one person who is out here speaking English. In the last, been to 7 states in Nigeria from Gombe, carried out grassroots, you know, social activism to by next week Friday I'll be in Calabar. So I'm grassroots and I'm on the ground, you know, and I'm trying to, you know, because the last time I met with Dr. Sunday Adelaja was when he was being hosted by a senior colleague who Pastor Sunday, Pastor Bolanta, Tunde Bolanta in Kaduna State, and I drove all the way. And you wouldn't be able to remember me. That's how much I respect Sunday Adelaja. I mean, church shift for me was out of the box because I feel like I'm doing something. In the last 20 years, I have stood on the path of nation building, working grassroots. That's how, you know, to show the young people, you know, that what we're doing is not out of place. I got a PhD. To show the young people a path, I ran for political office in 2019. I am founding a member of our Mamudondu. We have given our lives together on the street, just challenging the status quo. And I'm saying this on the backdrop of a man who carried out the Orange Revolution, because many people do not know who Dr. Sunday Adelaja is. So they wouldn't even understand the scope from where he's coming from. And I'm saying this with all sincerity of purpose, that for a man who stood to ensure a revolution in a country like Ukraine, who did all of that. But when you flip the other side, and you look at the political terrain, you know, in the timeline that we are living here in this country, I kind of feel that even though he's in touch with the reality of the theoretical application in terms of the knowledge, there's a bit tilt where the practicality in terms of the reality are concerned. And I'm starting up because I've followed a bit to see how the support that he has given even to the Buhari's administration. I mean, and from afar, I can see also that, and I'm saying this with all seriousness, that I kind of feel that Dr. Sunday is a bit removed from the complexities that we have as a nation. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm not sitting in the capacity of just a deputy national youth leader, but somebody who is deeply spiritual. And I don't say this, you know, on the surface at all, because I carry dreads on my head and I pastor a church in the middle of Abuja where only drug addicts, only people that are who cannot attend normal churches. These are the people that I pastor over. So I'm talking about completely cracked people. So my following is to see a man who has cracked a nation. And we have been doing this, and I've never even said this anywhere before. So because the complexity of Nigeria, as a person who was born in the 70s in Kaduna State, who also lived in Abuja, been in Lagos, and also worked in Maiduguri, where Boko Haram have infiltrated. You know, I have a knowledge, and part of why I even joined the Labour Party is because I also want to cover the gap of the naivety of what I know in reality that my principal is not aware of. This is where I'm coming from. We are multi-religious, multi-ethnic, we're so diverse in a lot of ways that even the track record of Lagos State as Lagos, as cosmopolitan as Lagos, I can tell you that Nigeria is way much more than that in terms of our combination as a people. By the time you're talking about the South, the Middle Belt, and the Core North, you're in terms of ideology, the involvement in terms of the way politics is practiced. And I give a very quick something as concerning that. You saw what played out with Tinubu, with Atiku, Tambowal, and Wike. To understand when it comes, you see, the core north is a place where ethnicity reigns supreme, but the tool of weaponization is religion. And even though it's a discussion for another day, it's important to bring this bit because I was looking for an opportunity because there was a group that I was a part of where I think because we had too many charlatans in that group, that Sunday was so angry and then he shut the group down because I was looking for an opportunity to share some in-depth knowledge where the generality of Nigeria and its complexities are concerned with Dr. Sunday Adelaja, because I also know, given what I know about him, there are certain things that are on his blind sides. And I know that he needs to also have that as a guide so that he can also help. And I give a very quick example of a practical work that we did in Maiduguri. So in interviewing the mothers and talking to the mothers of some of these people who have been indoctrinated, these Boko Haram members, some of the mothers cried. In one of the occasions that we were there, you can imagine interfacing with boys a boy who slept with his mother and killed her, slept with his sister and killed her. These are the kind of people we're talking about. This is the height of indoctrination. And yet the mothers said that they knew when their children were being indoctrinated, but because of the value, their religious value, they took sides with the children until the children came back to kill them. Now that's how deep the core northern Nigeria is. Then when you come to the Middle Belt, by the way, I was in Taraba 2 weeks ago. With all the things I thought I knew, Taraba State alone has over 100 languages in Taraba State alone. That's how diverse Nigeria is. I'm not talking about, distinct languages, 100, Taraba State alone. The Middle Belt of Nigeria has over 200 languages. But yet, when you think of northern Nigeria, because perception is greater than reality, and it's important because we need to juxtapose this on this whole stuff we're talking about so that at the end of the day, we can go beyond sentiment, beyond naivety, but also appreciate the complexity and zero down on either parties or individuals and look at what will take our nation forward. Because I'll tell you categorically that if you understand where we are and the opportunities that a Buhari that I almost gave up my life for in 2015, because we thought, looking at what you're saying about even in terms of security with Tinubu, General Buhari is a general in the Nigerian army. This is not somebody who comes from, it's not just like any of us who strategic studies or anything. It's not even, this is a general in the Nigerian army. Just about 4 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, on the same day, the police commissioner in Katsina State was killed by bandits. That same day, the presidential media convoy was shot at. That same day, Kuje, the most fortified prison in Nigeria, released prisoners. That's it. You can go back, and all of that. And the president is not. The guy is not even budging. The guy is even tired. The guy is done with Nigeria. But I know that a Sunday Adelaja believes that Buhari is, I'm not saying in totality, but of course. And I can understand that from evolution, that Nigeria is evolving. But with somebody who also understands the complexities of northern Nigeria, because Nigeria is not as though, Dr. Sunday, it's not as though we need to make money in Nigeria. One person stole 200 billion. We're talking about 109 billion stolen. We're talking, so money have been stolen. I'm talking about under this administration. So it's not as though Nigeria needs to generate money as like any of these African countries are generating money. I can tell you that with what I know and the thing is that most of this information is not like they're even, I couldn't dare, when I used to go to Rwanda to help them with their reformation during just shortly after the genocide. I could never believe that in my lifetime that people will bomb, that I sit, my house is just by a military base. But Dr. Sunday, even for me, there is no safety where I am, even in Abuja. I mean, and Dr. Mark, we are all here. Kidnappers are being caught right in the middle of Abuja. And the president, I mean, look at what El-Rufai said, that the president is not even aware that they gave, that the terrorists said they are going to kidnap the president and Governor El-Rufai. So, you know, because the situation we're dealing with is so multifaceted that you don't even know where to begin to attend it from. That's how diverse we are. And yet, I know that salvation is not going to come from outside. So yes, I'm not expecting somebody else. I know that the salvation of Nigeria still will come from inside, because there's no angel or anybody coming from outside. I know that whether it's a Tinubu or an Obi or an Atiku, come 2023, one of them is going to be. But we're talking about who is best and who has the most advantage to lead this nation forward. With all sincerity, and I've gotten really, really close. And there are some things I cannot say here, only in private. But honestly, looking at what is going on and why some of us took the courage to join the party to ensure that we're closing the gaps is because, let me say it here. Okay, let me just say some things here, just very briefly. And it's going to sound very, maybe sentimental, but deeply because of the complexity of Nigeria. So if we say something like an Atiku coming back, I have taught in Atiku's university in Adamawa State. And I can tell you, when the first day I walked into that university is like walking into any university in New York. State of the art, everything. So somebody will be wondering, why am I talking about Atiku now? Because that is his achievement. But when you look at the state, of course, the state is nothing to write home about. But I'm saying this because if an Atiku becomes the president of Nigeria tomorrow, the things that we play about, you know, when we say Nigeria is the most religious nation on earth, people do not understand what that power means. When we talk about the Fulanization agenda, sometimes it sounds as if, especially for me, for people who deal with facts and figures, who are not in that narrative of discussion, it can be a very hard road to pull. But I can tell you what will happen. To have a 16-year continuous of an ethnic group, if Buhari has done very well, we won't be having that problem. But because Buhari has done so badly, the emboldenment of this same ethnic group, which I'm not profiling because I'm not one to do that, but I'm saying that knowing what I know about the core northern part of Nigeria, what it will do, it will embolden these people that have caused mayhem. And guess what? These people are not even hiding. We all, and I'm sure that Dr. Sunday Adelaja has also seen the BBC report on the killings and that is going on. So it's not as though they are hiding. It will further embolden them. Now, if an Asiwaju becomes the president of Nigeria, Nigeria is not lacking in terms of proficiency or efficiency of people or capacity of people, because when we have discussions across, even when we talk about the latest car that is designed today in the world, you have a Nigerian there. When you talk about the most educated people, you have Nigerians there. Whatever discussion you're going to have, you have Nigerians are super intelligent. I mean, how can we talk about people? I mean, this is Dr. Sunday Adelaja we're talking about, who revolutionized an entire Western nation, for goodness sake, and we are sitting at table. That's Nigeria. But anytime you mention ethnicity and religion, we lose our sense of everything. We throw away everything. We don't even have the patience to be able to go through the facts of the reality of what is in place. So when you look at somebody like an Asiwaju, who by record, and I listen to Sunday Adelaja, who is who is a writer, a teacher, a mentor to somebody like myself, to say that your certificate does not matter, is your brain. You know, this does not matter. And I'm like, Nigeria is in deficit of morality. Nigeria is not in deficit of money making or ingenuity. What we lack the most in Nigeria is morality. Any nation can recover from anything, bankruptcy, anything. But when we lose morality, of which Asiwaju is number one, and I'm not saying it because I hate him, I can't even counter what he has done in Lagos. We are asking, imagine my children asking simple question as, the state he's from is even in question. His name is in question. Certificate is in question. Little basic things are in question, but we think it does not matter. In an era where Nigerians have become the highest rating people, where 4199s and all kinds of things are concerned, and it does not, I'm just saying that, can we just take a look back a little and look at those things? If it does not, because Nigeria need to go to heaven.
Dr. Moses, do you
Yes,
know
sir.
that we can bring Jesus Christ now to become the president of Nigeria, and it will even be worse.
I agree with you.
Okay, because if you want to discuss on that, it's another point that we could have a debate on. But there are a lot of things that you have said, and also myself, I made a mistake. I was talking about where Shetima worked, and I said Zenith and Lumelu instead of UBA. So I want to correct that mistake. He worked in UBA, and Lumelu is from UBA, I guess, right? I think he worked both in UBA and Zenith. Actually, that's why the mistake was, because I mentioned Elumelu, who was from UBA, and I put Zenith, but he worked, I think, in the two of them. But I want to respond to you, to everything you have said, because you brought me to tears. Just listening to you just breaks my heart. But I want to respond when they give me the opportunity. I just wanted to correct the other impression I made. Sorry.
Okay,
That's fine, sir. That's fine, sir.
Okay, Dr. Mo,
Yes.
Mo, so that definitely we still give you opportunity to continue. You've made very interesting submissions, and it's not a coincidence that Dr. Sunday is wearing an orange T-shirt. So maybe he's trying to project the revolution. Okay, so we need to give Mr. Martins some time to respond. Then what I will do is that after Mr. Martins, I will also bring up some issue. Then we allow Dr. Sunday to respond to Dr. Moses. And I'm happy with the way we are keeping this conversation cordial. Yes, it's very important for many reasons. Anytime I hold any space, the first thing I tell people is that, yes, we need to keep conversations cordial. No, you go to Twitter, people will say this is violence. But gradually, I was on a Twitter space recently, and we all agreed, even some of the supporters of Asiwaju and Peter Obi agreed that we should not destroy ourselves in the process. People are gradually coming to that realization. Twitter space some weeks, months ago is different now. Now people are talking more about issues, and all the heat is reducing. And when we talk about issues, we are eventually going to take the best decision. Okay, so Mr. Martins, we need to get your reaction concerning all these discussions.
All right. Thank you so much. I've been on and off because of a network issue. It's been a very great conversation, and it's interesting as well. Thank you, Dr. Sunday, and also thank you, Dr. Mo. I think this is how we should have the conversations before the elections, because we want everybody to be at peace. Election is not a war, and it's something we want our people also on Facebook and Twitter to understand, that in canvassing for a particular candidate, you don't need to make enemies, because after the elections, we are still going to remain Nigerians, and this is our country, and it's our responsibility to build it up, irrespective of who emerges the winner after the February election. Now, the area I want us to really look at is the areas of policies, because if you look at the candidates as at now, even their followers or supporters are not even acquainted with the policy direction of these candidates. As we speak now, we don't know what the policy direction of Peter Obi is. We don't know what the policy direction of Atiku, of Showore, of Atiku and Kwankwaso is. Because if you look at Nigeria, Nigeria is Nigeria is facing a lot of challenges economically, security-wise, and then we have a border situation from Benin Republic to Katsina border in Niger and also Seme border. You find out that our borders are very porous. We haven't heard anything concerning border policy from our candidates. And then also, this election is looking like a thing of sentiment because it's more like a peer pressure solidarity that people are giving to candidates. We want Nigerians to begin to ask real questions because we need to task these candidates who are vying for the highest seat in the country to tell us how they are going to address issues on ground. Because if there are no ready-made solutions before the enthronement of whoever emerges, then it will be business as usual. We could remember how it was with President Buhari when he came into power. It took him over 6 months before he got his ministers in place. And that is not too good for a country that wants to be among the progressive. So I want us to look at the policy directions of our candidate. I don't know what the policy direction of Asiwaju is. All we keep hearing is how Asiwaju has made Lagos economically viable. And also for Peter Obi, much of what is being said about him is how he stored over 78 or 72 billion, 70 something billion in the account of Anambra State. We should look beyond all this sentiment. These are not issues that will fix the situation in Nigeria. Nigeria is facing lots of issues now. Our economy is going down. Our people are suffering. You need to be in Nigeria, Dr. Sonny, to see the pains on the streets. People can no longer afford the basic necessities of life, and it's not funny at all. And I think that's why this support for Peter Obi is soaring, because people think that he is not part of the establishment and that he has a humane heart and he has a good heart for Nigeria. That's not to say that I am obedient, as they used to say it. I'm very disobedient. But the question is, what is the policy direction of Obi and Asiwaju? Since we have Obi and I know Dr. Sunday Adelaja is not campaigning for Asiwaju. His position is just based on a track record, what Asiwaju has been able to achieve with Lagos. And as it stands now, Lagos is the fastest growing city in Africa. So what are the policy directions of these candidates that we have? Dr. Sunday Adelaja, I think I would like you to respond first.
Thank you so much. Doctor, first of all, I want to acknowledge Dr. Moses, and he spoke so passionately that it touched my heart. And I've been praying and hoping that one day we'll have such leaders like himself heading the church of Nigeria. Because personally, that's the discussion for another day. I think the corruption in Nigeria and the rot of Nigeria started in the church. And we need to fix the church to fix the country. But that's a discussion for another day. So this one, I'm seeing it as a secular discussion, what we are doing now. Not even bringing Christianity here. Just assume that I'm not even a Christian. Just do analysis of factors that bring about development of nations. And I'm an expert in that, believe me. I've spoken in the United Nations twice. I've spoken to United States, America, on this topic. I've spoken to their Congress and to their Senate as well. because I do research, and I always remove sentiments. Now, even though, like I said, I was so touched by what Dr. Moses had said, and I pity him as a young man that, despite the fact that he touched me and brought me to tears, that he, just like he said, I have some blind spots, but his own, I will not call it blind spots. I would say I so much pity him because he's so passionate to see a better country. But because I'm an old man, in hindsight, there are some things that I know that could help people like him, that I could share with him, even as much as I would also like to learn from him and from his experience and things that are on ground in Nigeria. But because of hindsight, because of what I've seen all over the nations of the world, not just looking at Nigeria, those are what inform my position. That how can Pastor Sunday, who led Orange Revolution and who did all this, now be standing for somebody who is shaken? Okay, first of all, saying moral is not what is number one priority when it comes to governance. Let me start with Orange Revolution. I was one of the people that led Orange Revolution. You can go to YouTube, it's YouTube or Google and Google it. And the president that we brought in was the most moral politician in the history of Ukraine. And that's why we fought, because I was a young man. And I thought what you needed, the most important thing you needed, just bring a righteous person there. Because when, the righteous reigns, the people prosper. And righteousness exalts a nation. So those are the scriptures we stood on. But this guy was so nice. And even up to now, every Ukrainian will say he's nice. But after 4 years of his reign, only 5% Ukrainians voted for him to come back. Why the guy who had been imprisoned twice was preferred to come and take control? Because he was a good person, but economically, he doesn't have an idea. He couldn't fix the country. But the guy even was in prison twice, not for political imprisonment. Though. This is one was for rape, one was for another thing, stealing. Yet he became the prime minister and brought Ukraine to the highest. Ukraine was the highest growing economy in the world under him. Those are lessons to be learned. Because the man was a leader. And he was a people person. He could assemble people and he could do the job. So because he is a leader, and it is capacity and skills that informs what nation you build. And of course, track records, because he had been a prime minister before and he did it, but this man we brought in was a banker, he was a central bank director, but he has never been a politician. He doesn't know how to hold the whole country together. He doesn't understand how politicians behave. But even though he was a good man. But this one is a corrupt politician. But corrupt, maybe, but he knew how to build people together, to build a nation. So I, that have seen that, not just in Ukraine, but in the history of nation building, I've come to value principles above sentiments. And I've come to also realize that we as Christians will emphasize one aspect of Christianity, of Bible, spirituality, morality, but we don't see other aspects like skills, like proficiency, that are also in the Bible. Other examples too, if you study the kings, you will see that not all of them were morally perfect, but most of them that succeeded, they succeeded because of some principles. So I've discovered that when it comes to the matter of the earth, it is principles that you use to build the earth, to build nations or business or family or something like that, not emotions and not sentiments. So, but I would like to discuss that later on with my brother. But let's talk about morals. I would rather prefer Dr. Moses to be the presidential candidate in Nigeria. I'm waiting for a day like that. when it's maybe Dr. Moses or maybe it's Dr. Martin or it's our MCC today, anybody that has the fear of God, that is real Christian. But I cannot say that of Peter Obi. He has a posture, he's selling himself like that. But I have information, for example, and the information is already public, that competence is better. But even morality, I question morality of Peter Obi. I've written part of it in my article, but today I also had information from people from PDP who were close to Peter Obi, that Peter Obi was in charge of bribing traditional rulers in the East. In 2015 election, from PDP, is the one who was distributing money. And 2019 is the one also, all the bribe that Atiku was doing. Atiku was not going to give money himself. It was Peter Obi that they were using to give all the money. But Peter Obi will come forward to the camera and behave as a pious person. And people who are naive will follow him. But if you study track records, again, I'm coming back to track records, what he says, what he has done, and I put them on the same scale, both Peter Obi and Tinubu. Yes, I know about Tinubu's cases of corruption too. I'm not naive. I know all the things people say about the drugs, what his story in the US, and things like that. I know all that. I have all of them in my hands, both for Peter Obi and Tinubu. When it comes to morals, for me, none of them is a Christian, and none of them has moral. So I'm only talking about competence and track records right now. So if I'm going to take it from that area, for me, if the only thing that is left is track record, competence of what they have done. Now let's now talk about the diversity of Nigeria and the complexity of Nigeria that my brother spoke about. So when you talk about diversity, he says in Taraba alone, there are almost 100 languages there, which is true. I have some disciples, a lot of them in Taraba. Some of them are even running, both in the PDP and APC. And they have told me this over the years. But what I want to say is that, Dr. Moses, now, let's be sincere before God and man. Let's take Obi on one hand and Tinubu on the other hand. Who of them has interacted and related most and have worked in harmony the most among the complex, diverse tribes and nationalities of Nigeria? Of course, if you say they have 100 tribes or languages in Taraba alone, at least one person out of all those 100 will be in Lagos. At least one person. All of them are in Lagos. At least one person. And I know a lot of Tarabians that are in Lagos. And Tinubu has interacted. That is what makes Lagos unique. At least one person from every tribe. I mean, I'm not even saying 1,000. At least one person. He has managed it in Lagos. So if you are going to use track record and competence, it is Tinubu that still has the edge when it comes to complexity. Now, when it comes to Islam, do you want to tell me that if Obi becomes president, he will manage Islam better than a Muslim will do? Of course not. Or do you want to tell me that he will go and the Hausas and the Fulanis and all the northern people that are so complex, they will take an Igbo Obi from East to come and be telling them what to do and give them direction? That is what PDP people were saying when Jonathan was there. They were saying, no, this is, they were just trying to betray him, or they were trying to sabotage him because he's from the South. That sabotage will begin big time. And everything that happened, people will say is sabotage is because it's Igbo man. So I think when it even comes to that, Muslim and religious complexity, a Muslim from the South will be much more preferable to balance up things in Nigeria now than a Christian from the East. Talking about larger Nigeria right now, before God. I think it's obvious that it will do better. Now, when it comes to the question now of my brother Martin, what about the programs? What about the plans? What about the memoranda or whatever they're going to do? What's their blueprint? This is where I am most at peace. Because if you know the story of Ashiwaju, and I hate talking about Ashiwaju, But I had to do it because a lot of my disciples that are following me, I see that I have taught them. Some of them have even fought me. Some of them have even cursed me. Some of them just because of this, obey something. But I say no. I will not say, because I don't want to offend my disciples, not to speak what I know to be the right thing. One person on the side of truth is a majority. I will not contact Ashura people. I will not contact APC people. I don't want to meet them. I don't want to have anything to do with them. But I must be on the side of truth. And the truth right now is that at the place where Nigeria is now, only out of all the candidates, only Ashura could do it. And I will still come to address his health later on. So when it comes to plan and the blueprint for Nigeria, this is where I'm at peace. I'm totally at peace. Because I was speaking, maybe some of you will remember, one of the last times I was in Nigeria, actually it was the last time I was in Nigeria, I was invited by a friend of mine, Sam Adeyemi, to speak at his leadership conference. And there were two of us who were the speakers in that conference, myself and Fashola. Fashola at that point was the governor of Lagos State. So he was the governor, and I just came from Europe, and we were the two speakers teaching on leadership. The guy is smart. Fashola is good too. So anyway, what I understood after that whole conference was that Asiwaju assembled, because Fashola was not the front runner to become the governor. There were other people like Femi something, something others. Huh?
Pedro.
Pedro, yeah, Fomi Pedro or something. So those are the things that Asiwaju was telling us. But he assembled a committee of people before the election, before he himself was even elected, Asiwaju himself. And he just, you can say he locked them up for months, about 50 people or so. Experts from diaspora, from America, from Europe, from everywhere, from Nigeria, the best of minds. This is what Asiwaju did, and made them to come think, we call them think tank. With this think tank, they drew up a program, before it started to rain, a program and a blueprint for Nigeria for between 25 to 50 years. Program for Lagos, not for Nigeria, for Lagos. This is the way the man operates. So his hands might be shaking in the physical, but his brain is not shaking. Just like me now, that I am 50 years, I'm 55 years old, I'm going to 60 soon. And with my age now, I can see that I can no more do all the acrobatics gymnastics I used to do when I was younger. But I am still feeling myself as if I'm 17 or 18 or 19 inside. Inside, people don't get old. Your body could be weary, but your brain, if it still has the capacity to think and to function, and you say he forgets this, he forgets this. We all know who does that not happen to. But if he has the vision, the capacity, the idea, the ability to think, and people around him have been telling me, and I know people like Oshibajo is a personal friend, a good friend, and I was asking him that, why are you running again? Is it because it's health or something? People like him, people like other names that I could mention, they have told me on personal note that Asiwaju outworks every one of them on daily basis. That Asiwaju will be on his feet for 14 hours, 18 hours. They will be tired, they will be ready to go and sleep. Asiwaju will still be working and summoning them to do things. That's the kind of capacity the man has. I have it as first-hand information. So the fact that his hand is shaking or something, just like Biden, the president of America, he's also shaking. People also say things about him. Trump or people like that, they are even older than him. Anyway, but I'm just being sincere before God and man to look at competence, capacity, and to say who can help Nigeria at this time, looking at their track record. The track record of Obi, if we will make the mistake of putting Obi, we will have so much crisis, not just with IPOB or in the East, in the North, everywhere, Muslims, all things, we will not have a country. It will just, even Obi couldn't manage his state. And did you go to study the 7 or 8 years when Obi was in government? Anambra was boiling, Anambra parliament. They impeached him. His own Igbo people impeached him as governor. He is the only governor in the history of Nigeria that was legally impeached without pressure from president to say to the it is his own people who pitch. He cannot build. He's not a team builder. He doesn't know how to work. He's not a team leader. But this is where Asiwaju trumps in. Asiwaju is an expert in building people together, building capacity, and building team. Obey is just playing to the gallery, trying to be humble. But he is not, he's always fighting somebody. He fought with people in Afghan, he fought with people in PPP. That is when we talk about the integrity of Obi, Wike said that is exactly the reason he doesn't want to have anything to do with Obi, because he's immoral. That is immoral man. Abga also said Obi is an immoral person. And they said they caused him. These are his own people. Do you know what Nnamdi Kanu, I don't take his word serious, do you know what he said about Obi? He said he has videos of Obi in hotels doing, some crazy stuff. But I don't want to even go into all that. So out of all this something, I don't see any moral person there. I don't see any Christian in this one. I'm just focusing on track record and capacity. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sunday. And then I think I would like Dr. Mo to respond to that, because when you look at the issues or the areas he has stressed on about Peter Obi's moral stance, there are lots of stains that you would need to wash off. So what do you think about Obi's impeachment? I know he was impeached twice, and then he got his mandate back. And then also, his time in PDP, the governors from the East had issues with him. Even when Atiku made him his running mate the first time, they didn't want him. So what do you have to say about these issues?
Thank you very much. Again, all protocols observed. I'm excited that we're having this discussion, and I want Dr. Sunday Adelaja to permit me to use an analogy. Okay, and I want to use him as a person. To permit me to use him as...
I'm sorry, I'm going to break the protocol a little bit. Just add one word before you continue. I want to say, why did it just escaped me. Why did I say Nigeria will be plunged into a hell of problem if we elect Obi? He doesn't have all the representatives in the parliament, in the National Assembly, Senate, House of Parliament. He doesn't have people in local government. He doesn't have governors. He doesn't have people in something. They will impeach him immediately. The same thing that happened in Adelaja will happen in the national something. Even if he wins something, I don't want that for Nigeria right now. It's going to be too bad. And just to put that in, sorry for that.
Well, that's a good observation, and maybe I'll begin from there. If you remember what I said when I started, I spoke about the fact that because our evolution politically has not gotten to a point where we have party ideologies. Right now in Nigeria, parties are just platforms, they are just vehicles. So if you buy Lufthansa and Lufthansa cannot take you to your destination, just better leave that, buy another ticket and go. That's what has been happening, and this is fact. What that means is that if Obi emerges, you will have more than half from each party move to Labour. I mean, this waste time about. This is what has been happening from 1999. So that would be a problem at all. But in terms of the party structure, and I'll speak because of, we have filled in from to the presidency, we have filled in those and those who are going to win. We have filled in have people contest because it's important. Structure is very important from that level in terms of that grassroots. I'm a politician and I understand that. Anybody that says structure does not matter, no, the person is deceiving himself. But I reiterate again, if Obi emerges today, you will have more than enough people that will move from, because that's what we are as a country. Both APC, they will all just, governors and people, they will just move in. So That's not an issue, too much issue to talk about. I
Okay,
want to
don't you
reiterate.
think, Dr. Mo, don't you think if that happens, where politicians are crossing over from PDP, APC to Labour at the
That
emergence of Peter,
I
don't you
understand
think
where you're
that would
going
be
to.
business as usual?
I get that. I understand that. And remember what I said. Whether you talk about Asuwaju, Peter, or Atiku, we are still Nigerians, because sometimes we speak as though somebody is going to come from, one spirit will come from somewhere and lead us. No, it is still us that will lead it. And that's why I said I was going to use something that, do you know that part of the work that people like myself have done, and including yourself in the last 20 years, churches haven't changed much. But because of people like Sunday Adelaja, there are churches today that have completely turned their back on what they used to teach before. Now, would you say that those pastors are now the way the things used to be? No, I can tell you, it might not be much, but people are changing. With Sunday Adelaja emboldening people like me for the first time, people are like, but Dr. Mo, you have been saying this thing for years. So I say, yes, it is about who is saying it, and that the day we get such clouds too, they would accord us the same thing. So I can tell you that even the people that we talk about that are bad today, people change, nations change, community change, and it is the bad people that become good. So that can happen on that level. But I want to draw our narrative to something that people easily say religious in terms of, but it's not. It's actually a fact. You see, 2023 is becoming, religion is playing a big factor because of the step that APC as a party took. Because there are two things that are key for competence. Competence is recognizing representation and meritocracy. The ability of a leader to understand when, because we are multi-ethnic, multi-religious, the Nigerian nation is more and that is the beauty of Nigeria as a nation. This is one of the things that makes Nigeria the most diverse, the most beautiful nation, where you have atheists, you have Buddhists, you have Hindu, you have Muslims, you have Christian, you have the free thinkers. This is the beauty of Nigeria. It is a value that you can hardly find in any other nation. We have them in Nigeria. So when APC went for, and I'm speaking to the fact of that, not the sentiment of that when Asiwaju took Shetima, the reason why religion and Peter Obi became lamplight based on that is because of the value of representation. And I want to draw, this is one of the things I want to draw Dr. Sunday Adelaja to look at, because I come from a very plural family where I have cousins. My cousins, Aisha, come to the house, and you can imagine me, a pastor, telling Aisha, because I'm a geographer, and she says that, uncle, where do I turn to pray? And I say, you've forgotten your geography. This is where you pray. This is how you turn. And she's a Muslim, and she's my cousin, first cousin. So I come from a home like that, way beyond religion, so I come so to understand, and our viewers to understand this. And I'm glad that you can't bamboozle people, really. Next thing I'm going to say in terms of, if you governors, everyone, when they come, they receive award. They go, they say they are the worst. That is the same thing that is happening in our viewers. Some B is the best. I was in Anambra. Somebody say governor. There are people that believe that Obasanjo is. There are people that are, when because if Buhari is right, you are worse than the devil. Appreciate the devil for doing something good. Was one of the biggest achievements away from that. It is this same administration, government autonomy. Do you know that that didn't happen. So when a because of sentiment remove that from him, sir, do you are Muslims? They accept a Southern Christian more than they accept a Southern Muslim. They don't even consider Middle Belt or Southerners as true Muslims. And I'm talking in terms of the way the core Northerners see those people who come from the South who are Muslims. I'm telling you, and I want you to verify this. This is why they don't see Asiwaju as a Muslim. As long as they are concerned, Asiwaju is even a Christian. This is why they insisted that.
Dr. Mo,
yes, I can hear you.
We have a lot of listeners from all over Nigeria, so I will think we should not go too deep into these aspects. So let's just be a bit.
I understand. I mean, but what I'm talking about is not. I understand that, but it's not out of place. Because it's 2023 we're talking about, and I'm telling you why religion has become a front burner. However, what happens with politics is that you are going to hear a lot of things that even the things that Asiwaju didn't do, that he didn't know about, they are going to come up with documentation to say he did it. The same thing they are going to talk about Obi. In fact, there will be a lot of fabrication of things that never existed. Did you see the one that happened today until Wike came out? They said Wike had already sued Atiku, and they brought out facts and documents until Wike came out himself. Just like, so you are going to have, and this is the politics. This is why they say politics is dirty. This is why they talk about a lot of things, because people will leave what is factual and what is true and begin to go into propaganda. But I will quickly also want to reiterate that for the listeners and everybody, that Buhari has changed the status quo in terms of the core value of the things we are discussing today. Because Buhari came to power based on integrity, morality, and a general, somebody who understands strategic positioning in terms of Nigeria and also Africa. Being somebody that was head of our military. And because Buhari also, who came like a messiah from northern Nigeria, a fanatical who has also failed not just Nigeria, but his own people. Today, I was in Katsina I can't remember when. The Obi movement is moving into Katsina, is moving into northern Nigeria, because we have people, Muslims, who also feel that that a Muslim like Buhari has failed them, because they are being kidnapped, they are being raped, they are being shambled, that has taken over the status quo is nothing to write home about. And so when you look at that, and I want to quickly say that I'm saying overall that Buhari has failed, because I come from the ideology that understands that has failed, Nigeria is moving forward, because nation building is more than just a regime. In the same way, our life as individual is more than us. Whatever a father, they step, as long as he birthed the next generation, whether he built, that continuation is important. And this is where a lot of Nigerians also, the fact that we have Buhari, a lot of things, Nigeria has moved. The messianic syndrome has been killed by Buhari. Also, to say that single-handedly has killed an ideology that Obi is bringing to the status quo. I want to say that the one of the things that Obi is bringing to the status quo, the gatherings that we are seeing all over the place, is the fact that Obi is very accessible. Nigerians cannot see. Obi is accessible. Whether he's pretending, whether he's lying, they want to touch, they want to feel. And Obi is giving them that. And because of accessibility also means that, look at what, Dr. Sunday, I want you to see what is happening right now with all our listeners. Completely alienated from the sufferings and the reality of the people. People die. This guy, this regime does not, the word is that they are nonchalant. They don't just care. The equation. And what Nigerians are seeing, and Dr. Sunday, I want to quickly say that when you mention, because you are a person of knowledge and fact, hand that is shaking, it is the brain. The reaction of the hand comes from the brain. Because I have, when I look at track record, and I will say it for who Asiwaju is, this is somebody, he reminds me of myself. He has paid the dues. This man has been working for Nadeco to all of those people. But again, the problem we have with people like Bola Asiwaju, you see, when you say Emilio Khan, it's like my father saying that it is my turn. Buhari was head of state when I was a child. And then in my prime, came back to become the head of state. The same thing that happened with Obasanjo. 78 became president in 1999. Come on, at a time when we have 40 presidents of developed nations, what is competence? Competence is all demography. That demography is a demography that Peter Obi belongs to. And I was saying something that because he's can be dealt with, he can be held accountable. But when you have an elder statesman like Asiwaju, who is also Baba, and because we are also tired of hospital tourism that Buhari has also made blatantly against everything that he stood for. If Baba is sick, where is he going to go to? He will continue. Is he not Asiwaju and Buhari that used to meet in the UK in the hospitals? These are the things that people are seeing that is going to continue. And this is why the young people are tired. They just don't want this thing. Even if Obi is bad, they believe that they can hold Obi accountable. And
okay, Dr. Mo, because of time.
Because of time.
Yes.
So, what I'm saying is that, you see, number one, APC didn't consider representation, which is the core value of competence in their choices. This might be light for people like me, but I'm telling you, for the grassroots people that I relate with, this is key. So with competence, representation, also when to apply what's it called now? Meritocracy. These are the values that people are looking for. And this is what will help us as we draw close to 2023.
Thank you very much. We've been here for 2 hours, and it's good for us to start rounding down. So, you know, as Dr. Mo was rounding down his submission, it was just as if he peeped through my notes. Yes, because I wanted to throw this observation to Dr. Sunday. Now let me read a definition of populism from Google. Number one, it says that a political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns are disregarded by established elite groups. Okay? Populism also means the quality of appealing or being aimed at ordinary people. Okay, another definition gives populism as an ideology that considers society to be ultimately separated into two homogeneous and antagonistic groups, the pure people versus the corrupt elites. Finally, a general definition is a political philosophy supporting the right and power of people in their struggle against the privileged elites. Now, the reason why I've taken time to read this definition is because, just like what Dr. Mo said, someone like Dr. Sunday is a mover and shaker of nations. Yes. And whatever it is that people think, he has a lot of experience, especially across nations, across governments. And it is good for us to say that what is happening on ground. You see, like if you look at the whole obedient movement, and of course, Asiwaju too has massive followers. It first started like he cannot win, he doesn't have structure. Now you hear people like Abdullah Adamu saying that Peter Obi is a good man and he's not going to attack him and he's not going to underestimate him. You hear Professor Kayamo also saying that even when he talk about politics, he believes that, I think he said something like Peter Obi even has more experience like that. Now, I'm just trying to put what is happening now on ground in Nigeria in perspective. The youth, the obedient youths, they believe in, you see, change. Because sir, you will agree with me that when you look at someone like Barack Obama, he was a populist. And when you look at Donald Trump, he was a populist. When you look at President Buhari, he was a populist. Now, what I noticed during their rise was that when this populism energy, which centers around one message, change, starts to cut across a country, it becomes very difficult. Now, I am not talking about these supporters of the opposition party. It becomes very difficult for some of these track records to be considered because people just want change. Now, for Asiwaju, because I've interacted with a lot, and also I can also pick some points from what Dr. Adelaja said. Number one, he talked about his achievement in Lagos, his ability to work with a team to set up, he's a builder of men. I think I even heard Pastor Bakari also saying something like that. That while other people are just looking, Asiwaju was building men. And then he's a political strategist. Peter Obi, a change agent, frugality. So the frugality aspect might not appeal to people in the class of Dr. Sunday Adelaja because they are looking in the aspect of wealth creation, ability to generate. But this message appeals to the young people because they don't think the problem of Nigeria is that we don't have money. They believe the problem is that even when the money is there, it is being wasted. And then inclusion, similar to what Dr. Mo was trying to say. So, sir, these are impressions that is becoming the reality of the obedient movement. And then what I listed about Lagos achievements, the ability of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to work with men to create team, different. Of course, we know a lot of people that he has brought on board and things like that. And then his ability to strategize politically. So, the question is, which of these do we think should be the message that should be passed to the young people? Should their message for change be amplified by mentors like you, or should their agitation for change be stepped down for the track record of the Asiwaju? So that is what I would like Dr. Sunday to address, and I think after that we're going to give Mr. Martins and Dr. Mo some minutes to respond, and I believe we should start rounding up the discussion. Then I will also make a proposal. Dr. Adelaja, please try and buy an Android phone. People are waiting for you on Twitter. This one you are seeing here is child's play. I am telling you. Of course, when I moderate spaces, I try to keep it cordial. Once you talk nonsense, I remove you. People know me because I always want to be an agent for respect and unity. But the bigger guns are on Twitter. And sir, of course, you've seen some part of the response from Dr. Mo, who has represented the ambassador of the obedience here. And in his case, he's a doctor, he's a PhD holder. The ones on Twitter are not. Some of them are not comment too. The ones on Twitter are not in this level at all. But I know they will always talk with respect, and we are dealing with issues. Just like what Philip Adeyemi said here, populism is the fuel for revolution. So this is the reality on ground, and that is why among the obedience, I am not saying the obedience are more than the, but among the obedience, it becomes very difficult for them to consider this achievement because they just want to change. All right, so sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. First of all, I want to tell the obedient people that they should listen to people like me too, because it will ease their pain when the election happens. Because Obi is not going to win. Take it to court. I mean, take it to the bank. If you want, I can bet with you $10,000 on that. Obi is going to lose. He's not even going to be second. Do you know that in all of Nigeria, the whole population of Nigeria, we are not, most of the people supporting Obi are from even diaspora. Because the people in Nigeria itself who are on Twitter and on Facebook, everybody together, is less than 20 million. It's less than 20 million people, everybody. So even if everybody will vote for him, he will still lose. Because not everybody on the internet or on Twitter or Facebook are supporting him. Other people are still supporting other people too. So, but if they will listen to me now, they will have less pain, they will have less heartbreak when it happens. Because they will see, they will be able to remember what I said and see reason, maturity into why principles are superior to sentiments. Most of the arguments, unfortunately, that Dr. Moses is bringing forward are the sentiments of what's happening right now, how people are feeling, what's on ground. But let me try to address some of this right now, then answer your question. So Dr. Moses says that the APC didn't have they are not sensitive to the reality on ground. That's why they did Muslim. And but he too said the northern Muslims don't regard Ashiwaju as a Christian, as a Muslim, as a genuine Muslim, even though he's a Muslim in name, and it's true. Ashiwaju is not a Muslim, frankly speaking. He started going to mosque more now because of the election, but normally he's just a secular guy. He's not a Muslim, I would say. But he's a Muslim in name, and those people in the north who are saying that they are right. But also, Dr. Moses says that they don't regard him as a Muslim from the north, but at the same time, he's saying he was insensitive, and APC was insensitive to get a Muslim in the card as vice president. So let's just assume that Ashiwaju is not a Muslim. He's a secular guy, or he's a Christian. For me, I think he's more of a Christian than a Muslim. So what is the problem then if you get a real Muslim from the north to partner with him? But it's not just a Muslim he got from the north, he got from Kanuri, a minority tribe in Nigeria, which is away from the Fulani Hausa that we have always been having. So, which is a good thing that we should play down on the religious sentiment and see that there's a Kanuri, he picked a minority from the north. Let's look at that and give credit for that one. And also, he's not a religious fanatic. He's not a Muslim like Muslim. He's a regular guy. He's just, he's even more a Christian. For me, if you ask me, Ashiwaju is a better Christian than Peter Obi is. And again, let's go back to track records. When Peter Obi was the governor, I've not lived in Nigeria for close to 40 years. But I do my research. Go and do your research and look for the track record of how Ashiwaju treated Christians in Lagos and how Peter Obi treated Christians when he was governor. Not now when he's going to my friend Paul Enenche and other people's shop to get elected. Though. Not now. Because everybody can go to church to get elected. Jonathan did the same thing. Buhari did the same thing. But wow, the track record. That's why I always say follow track record. The track record of Peter Obi in Anambra State among his Igbo people is nothing to write home about when it comes to religion. Up to today, Anambra people see Peter Obi as a divider, and a divider in terms of religion. They said Peter Obi went to, throughout his 8 years of rule, he was elevating and projecting Catholics over all other religion in Anambra State. There was almost a civil war in Anambra State based on religion because of Peter Obi. And up to today, right now, there is still that tension between especially Anglicans and Catholics. Go and do your research. You will see that he's not a manager of people. He's not a manager of men. He has very bad relationship. He's not a builder. He's not a people peace person. He doesn't have relationship. So what people, because there is a big difference between accessibility and relationship building or team building. He couldn't do that even on religion level in his own state. And he couldn't do that with his parliament. He couldn't do that with his other politicians, even from his own party. People from his own party evicted him from the governorship. People from other parties, they were very few. Also, he doesn't have the skills. We can't blame him. He just doesn't have it. So the fact that he's humble or is accessible is totally different from building relations. He's not a people person. He's not a bridge builder. So when it comes to religion, Asiwaju will do better because track record says so. I'm not saying this because he's Asiwaju. I don't know him. I don't care for him. But track record speaks louder than sentiments. And the track record of Obi is that it was a failure when it comes to religious relationship in his own little state. Talk less of the complexity that you are talking about. The complexity of Nigeria, who will better address it? Of course, Asiwaju will better address it. So that is one on one hand. So if they say he's not a Muslim, he's not a Christian, he's not a Muslim enough, then let's assume he's a secular person or he's a Christian. So no problem. He's a Southerner, a secular person, then one Muslim from the north. Good for Nigeria. So Christians shouldn't always be the ones that are supposed to be there all the time. At least you have Christian campaign manager now, spokesman, you have other Christians will be in other places. So anyway, so next point. The tolerance of Asiwaju Tinubu is better than that of Obi, or Asiwaju is more tolerant when it comes to religion. Track record again. Track record of, was Obi more tolerant with other Christian groups, with other Christians? He's not tolerant. He is more tolerant towards his own Catholic people. And the track record said he was not tolerant to even other Christians. We're not talking of Muslims. Okay, next one. Now, we are talking about compare Nigeria's security complexes and Buhari failed and all that. Yes, he failed, but you have to always see that in the concept of what's going on in the world. Now, what is the situation? I will ask you a few questions. What's the situation of security in the countries in these middle countries downward of Libya? Mali, what is the situation of security there? Is this the same as Nigeria or not? You will see, it's the same. What is the situation in Guinea? Is it the same as Nigeria or not? It's the same. Cameroon, is it the same? Yes. Niger, is it the same? Yes. Congo, Chad, is it the same? Yes. Why? And okay, that's one question you have to answer.
Dr. Sunday, let me interrupt you a bit. Okay. In Ukraine, if a party that sponsored the incumbent who is believed to have done terribly bad is indicating interest to bring another candidate to be president, do you think the people will support that party again?
Not just in Ukraine, even in America. Okay, people will say one president did bad. The president could do bad. but the party presented another candidate who has more capacity and more ability, because you cannot. It's not the party that's going to rule by itself alone, but it's more about individual. But so if the individual is having assessed or credited capacity, of course, why not? Because he's the one going to be the president. So, but I just want to continue the point I want to make, because my brother, Dr. Moses, says Peter Obi is going to be accessible. No, he's not going to be accessible. Even if he wants to be accessible, if he becomes president, he's no more going to be accessible, because the protocol and the laws that governs president, head of state, not just in Nigeria, in any country, will not allow him to be accessible. He will not be standing on the queue to go to the airport. He will not be walking down the street to shake your hand like that. He will not, because the security will not allow him. In America, I was told that even if the security tells him, don't go that road, and the president says, I'm going to go that road, and they said it's not safe, they said the security will drag him on the floor. They will rather drag him, that no, it's for your safety. We have the constitutional demand to do this. They will drag him from there physically. So don't our Nigerian people, young people, shouldn't live in the house of web, whatever they call it, web, and think that this is what they are saying of Obi now is what will play out when he becomes president. No, we are not going to see him at all. The same thing happened when he was the governor. Okay, but again, track records. But so it's not going to be accessible. Forget about that one. Then the most important point that my brother said, Moses said, is that when Peter becomes the president, that people will move from PDP, governors, senators, and all that, move from PDP and APC. Then why did you deceive people that you had to leave PDP? So why do you have to leave PDP? Why did you deceive people that these people are bad, they are corrupt, so I want to represent something new? Fallacy. And this is all about what Peter Obi has done and is doing so far. He's deceiving gullible people who believe that this is the big guy they're going to have when he becomes president. No, people are going to come there, they're going to overwhelm him. There's a scripture that says in the Old Testament, when God brought the children of Israel to the land of promise, he said, I will not give you the land, this land of promise, all at once, land of Canaan, but I will give it to you little by little. Why? Because if I clear the land for you right now and give you everything, he said the wild animals will come and devour you. The wild animals from PDP, the wild animals from APC, they will come and devour not just Peter Obi himself, all the ideas he stands for, just like people did with PDP. When PDP people left PDP, came to APC with Saraki, we know how that ended. They paralyzed the government of this guy, of Buhari, because the white animals will come and devour the whole vision. So, if we're going to talk about that, it means we're hypocrites. So we're actually, people we are condemning that we want to remove, we're actually planning to bring them in when we come in. So he's breaking the heart of the young people and deceiving them. That is populism, exactly the meaning of populism that my brother was talking about. So, I think Peter Obi thing is a good experiment. It has helped young people to awake. People like Moses, Dr. Moses, I just pity him because he's working hard. Because he wants an ideal society, he wants a good society, but we will only have that when you have somebody who is truly born again, who is not a politician, who is not paying articles money to people by night and laughing to you by day, but somebody who is truly regenerated. And not just regenerated alone. I will not support a born-again Christian for Nigerian president if he doesn't know what it takes. He has to not just be born again, but he has to have the skills and the competence as well. And he has to have the capacity and the vision, because those are the things that will allow him to build a nation. I've helped many presidents all over the world. I can tell you how many I've brought to Christ, and I've helped them to become prime minister and presidents, but not all of them perform because they've not been discipled in the principles of nation building. All talk will crumble when reality comes. But people who have gone through it, who have the capacity, are the ones who will bring out the result. Thank you so much. That's all I
All
have to
right.
say.
Okay. While we are rounding up, I want Dr. Mo to look at it critically. Do you think if we elect a Peter Obi as president in 2023, do you think with a PDP APC National Assembly, do you think you'll be able to bring or keep the country together? And then
Sorry,
also,
please. Before my brother answers that question, I want to say he didn't answer the question you asked him before, that Peter Obi was impeached 2 times because of his lack of relationship building. And so I just want to remind him of that, for him to answer that one too. That what will happen with Nigeria if they impeach him in one state alone, and the small Alabra, with the complexity that he is talking about of Nigeria, how many times will they impeach him?
so Dr. Mo, you can respond to these questions. Do you think if a Peter Obi emerges president in 2023, he will be able to hold the country together? Because we saw a situation where he was impeached twice in Anambra. Now, if this same scenario plays out and he emerges president in 2023, that means it will be a president that is standing alone with a PDP APC National Assembly. Do you think he will be able to hold the country together? Because Peter Obi seemingly does not have an history of this political strength and might and sagacity to keep people together and have them. Politics is all about skills. He seems not to be having that skill to carry people along. Do you think he wouldn't be impeached? And then the third question is, do you think Peter Obi will be able to win the majority votes and then get 25% in about 24 states, the constitution says?
Yeah. So I mean, very, very interesting, but also insightful. And I want Dr. Sunday to know that I hear him, and the youths also are hearing him. One of the things he said that is very, very key and an important lesson is that even though he was part of the pioneering of the Orange Revolution, he has also learned from history. So he's actually bringing more to the table in addition to that process, which is very important because there is no need reinventing the wheel if if the wheel already exists. So I want to let him know that I hear that, and the youth also are hearing that. And one of the things that makes this particular timeline very unique is that we have access to whatever is happening all over the world. So there is no need to be afraid of that. That's what he has is available for the young people to learn from. And that is what makes this obedience unique, because they're not sentimental and they are not naive. And I'll give you points quickly to back up that. If you think that, number one, it's about a Southerner or an Igbo candidacy, put Rochas or Okorocha there, or put any other Igbo person there, and then you will see that it is really not about where Obi comes from. Okay. Number two, to talk about why was Obi removed? Why was Obi impeached? And I want to put it on record that he was impeached twice and he went to court and came back. That also shows the power. It also shows you a strong track record that this is somebody that was removed on a flimsy excuse of an ideology that he was trying to imprint to show the people that nonsense cannot continue, that we cannot continue the way things have been. But on the account of that, because they wanted things to continue, they removed him. And he went to also what? There is competence and also jurisprudence, legality took place. That is why he came back. So even as president of Nigeria, if corruption tried to fight him like they've destabilized Buhari's government, I can assure you that if on the basis of corruption, Peter Obi is removed, the court will bring him back the same way he was brought back in Anambra. There is no perfect track record than what happened in Anambra State. And that is what we want to see. Look at what is happening right now. Even though Buhari has failed more than 1 million times, he cannot be impeached. He cannot be removed. Buhari should not even be there. But so I'm saying that on that it is even the sorry. If the polluted National Assembly tried to remove him back, so it's an addition, it's not a removal, you know. And to say whether Peter together, of course, the same thing that goes in Anambra State. Response he gave to Governor El-Rufai, he told El-Rufai to mention the people that have worked with him. Anambra State is also a cosmopolitan in it. I've been there, you know, in nature, just like, you know, Lagos, even, I mean, in comparable advantage. And given the of Peter Obi, Dr. Dati, this is why Peter Obi is going to have made up of clear representation, you know, a representation from all the, you know, the divides as a people naturally. That's what's going to happen. So it's not even, and of course you can see that the entire revolution is by young people. Something that Dr. Sunday said that I quickly want to like totally Governor Peter Obi was governor. He was very accessible. I met him at the airport and I spoke to him while he was governor. How many governors can you meet today? Even the governor of my state, when I led the revolution over the killings, I could not even see him. Up till today, 8 years down the line, I can't see the governor of my state. Just a few days ago, I was flying to Lagos. I understand the complexities. I've been in America, I've stayed in New York, and I can tell you that I understand the security architecture that surrounds the presidency. Just in the same way, many presidents are in terms of their life and morality, they are completely shielded from the people. But I can assure you that Peter Obi will be available. He's going to be that was killed, a popular president that was killed over.
It's Thomas
Kennedy.
No, it's in Africa. It is Thomas Sankara.
Peter Obi, like Thomas Sankara. That is the point I'm making. Available even as president, it can have Dr. Adelaja, the same way Dr. Adelaja is, Peter Obi is to the political side. Dr. Adelaja is hated by the system. Is the same way Dr. Sunday and Peter are actually forms. That is why you know, and I think it will just be trying politics. When we talk about politics, what makes politics a skill? Because you are mixing the politics. The reason why people you'll be able to woo people from one party to another. Politics. It is not morality. So Dr. says that we are deceiving people when we say come to the party is the power. It is the who will join him. They will submit to his ideology, to Dr. Sunday Adelaja's ideology. Even what is it? What did they? If they can give way for that, people can be changed. one of the biggest thing that it is the ideology of accountability based on some struggle so hard to have him on the extent to which he has broken. It's like on a platform like this, but you are available, can be insulted by people, can be talked to. A track record that already shows that. How many of the presidential able for you to see? If you call, I want to challenge Sunday Adelaja for call all the presidents. Can only Peter Obi will show up. Atiku will give an excuse, will not even appear. Even when CNN invited them, this is what it is. What you cannot give now, you cannot give. Architecture surrounding the president, but I can assure you that Peter Obi will be available. In the Dr. Sunday Adelaja broke convention, broke the impossible we're trying to break here in terms of our political divide. And I put it to you that the problem of Nigeria is her leadership. Nigeria is a very easy country to lead. Once leader, people will follow you. I won't have time to begin to mention some of the things. I have baggages of some of the things that I see what you do. I can't bring it down here, but I quickly want to say this, that you misconstrued some how Southern Muslims are viewed. That is why the host was stopping me from not talking. It is the should a Muslim in the South be seen less than a Muslim? This is the complexity of Nigeria that you don't understand. If you start and just say, if it's not accepted, let it be, it means you are not only naive, you are ignorant of what is happening in core Nigeria. This is the oligarchy. This is the power that controls things, that uses the middle belt, that undermine the status of whatever you are in the South. This is why power is controlled by Northern Nigeria. But you see, to understand this is not something to just shrivel and just say, and let him be accepted as saying this now. After all, he's more Christian than that. That's not just naivety. That's ignorance. And these are the things we need to fight against and change, because these are core ideologies that have continued to derail Nigeria on the path of its growth and representation and success and morality that we're speaking about. So to close in, I believe that Peter Obi will do a lot more. Yes, I'm not saying that he's going to do miracle, and nobody is deceived, because Peter Obi is not the Messiah. Peter Obi just happened to be standing in the center of gravity. This is a movement. This movement is beyond Peter Obi, and I'm saying it even though I play a very serious role in the Labour Party. It's not even about Labour Party. It is about a people that are tired. Dr. Sunday, don't pity me, because what I'm doing is not something that I started today. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm almost 45 years, so I'm not even young. I'm not in the bracket of the young people, as it were. If I don't do what I'm doing right now, in the next 15 years, I'm out. The same thing goes for my brother, Pastor Martins, and the rest of us. Yes, so we're not even young in that regard. We're actually old right now. We're trying to set up a system for our children. I could have lived anywhere in the world if I chose, but I decided to stay in Nigeria because I understand the wealth of this nation. I understand how the advantage of this nation. And something you said about security that I agree with you. What many people don't know, even though they fight this administration for giving gifts of support system and security structure to Chad and other places, it is important. And I'm saying this to say to you that I understand that the people that are fighting against Nigeria, they need to win Nigeria, because once they take over Nigeria, they will take all East West Africa. ISWAP is what? It's West Africa they are fighting for. But it's important for them to take Nigeria. And that's why Nigerians need to understand, when it comes to security, that is a complete discussion we are going to have on another day. And I'm saying on this account that in this account of 21st century understanding of our security architectural setup, Obi understands this far more than Asiwaju can even comprehend. He understands what is at stake. I can go ahead and reel out a lot of indices and indicators that shows that, but time will not permit us. But I hear you, and I want to reiterate that what you said is very important. That is not just about a change, a move, but that to ensure that that change will lead to a balance of structure in terms of what needs to be done. And I can tell you that without anything, because we live in the 21st century, there are no better people to lead this. And the young people that are going to help out, I mean, you have people like myself who will help to work and galvanize and ensure that an Obi presidency does not crumble. Well, astute politicians who understand with regard to our elders and our people.
All right.
In terms of
Dr. Mo,
yes,
we we are
a last
rounding
statement.
off.
Yes.
Yes.
Just a last statement.
Wikiman. Okay, go on.
I want to let the reason why an Obi presidency will supersede coming out, including Asiwaju, is that the people that are kidnapping people all between the ages of what? Of a movement, the NSAS movement are all between the age and 35. Power for power. In this generation will neutralize their enemy. The Obi Dati presidency.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mo, and also thank you, Dr. Sunday. Wikiman, it's time to...
Yes. A very successful conversation, a very educative, and I like all the points that was raised both by Dr. Sunday and Dr. Mo, and it's a very important. These are very important issues. Like we said, we don't want to take any decision sentimentally. We need to be informed, and I think it has been a very beautiful conversation. So I don't know if Dr. Sunday just has some final closing word in like 1-2 minutes, while we still prepare to host him on Twitter for the ultimate Royal Rumble. Okay. Of course, Dr. Mo is active on Twitter, so he doesn't need any invitation. So, Dr. Sunday, just some closing words, like 2 minutes. Like we said, this is just the beginning. We are not done with this discussion. Yeah, this is just the
Thank you so
Facebook
very much,
version.
Wiki
Yes,
Man. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much, Dr. Moses. We should know that what is at stake is that we cannot afford to elect a president. Can you mute your phone, please?
Okay, sorry.
We cannot afford to elect a president like Obi or Mr. Obi to become president. We need a president that will hit the road running, that has already had relationship among all the tribes, all the nations, Southwest. It's Asiwaju that has that network. If you tell me that Obi has more network among all the tribes and diversity and ethnicities of Nigeria than Asiwaju, then I don't have anything to discuss with you, because that is self-deception. Asiwaju has already built over the years. You cannot just come in 1 year or 2 years and repeat or do what somebody has done over 30 years. So Asiwaju can hit the road running. He already has all the interactions and the politicians and the contact and the relationship, everything. That's number one. Number two, if Nigeria will make the mistake, and I'm now talking not just as Sunday Adelaja, but it's a prophetic word, warning. If Nigeria will make the mistake of electing Peter Obi, we will be plunged into such a crisis that he will not even have time. He will not even have time to sleep, talk less, or fix anything. It will have so much crisis. All the political enemies from everywhere, they will make Nigeria ungovernable, not just for him, but for everybody. They will just turn Nigeria into a crisis center. Believe me, this is what is waiting if Peter Obi will win, because of different things that I could talk about, because of different reasons. But more importantly, because of the failure of Peter Obi to build those relationships over the years. And if that's why he will not even win, I don't even need to bother about that, because he will not win. I've already bet 10,000 on that. But I just say, even if we assume that he wins, it will be the beginning of crisis. He will not be able to even. You remember, Trump won also like a miracle in America, and it came like a revolutionary. Trump really came with good intention for America. But you know what? They didn't allow him. Every day was having crisis. Every day it was crisis. Every day it was crisis. Until Americans decided to remove him, because the only thing to have peace as a country was to remove him. But the one of Nigeria will be worse like 1,000 times than that of the crisis that Trump was in. Because the structure must be in place, the infrastructure must be in place, the relationship must be in place. A lot of things need to be. You know what it means to rule a nation? I've had a little experience with people who have done it. I've had them in church members. Our church member, in our church, we had control over 36% of the parliament. I know what happens behind the scene. We had of the parliament. Can you imagine? 36% come to our church, used to come to our church. So I know what it means. I know the intricacies with what in government. If you don't have those things in place, you will regret the day you became president. You will curse that day. That is what is waiting for Nigeria if Peter Obi wins. So I appreciate the movement. The movement is necessary. We need this movement, but Peter Obi is not the Messiah.
All right, Dr. Sandy, thank you so much. And Wikiman and Dr. Moore, thank you for your participation. It's been a very interesting conversation, and this is how we call it off for the day. And I believe when the campaign starts, we'll have so much to talk about as the issues come up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And have a nice evening.
All right, everyone.
Same
Bye.
here. Thank you so much.